Hello, everyone. Good evening to everyone who is actually here. I am using a filter tonight. The very first thing that I want to say is that I definitely want to apologize because I am super late and I'm trying to figure out if my filter is not going to be a distraction for the live for tonight. It's a pretty serious topic. It is excruciatingly hot for me. I was doing my best. I was already by 9 p.m. However, it was so hot. It is still hot. This is why I have to use a filter because my sweat, I can feel them coming down my skin. I have water around me. I have been drinking water, but it is just hot. I hope that you guys are doing extremely well. And I also hope that you guys are trying your best to stay somewhere that is cool, somewhere that is, like you can get some fresh air, and most definitely that you guys are keeping yourself hydrated. I am running on 1,000 when it comes to water intake. I'm so sorry, but I really have to do this just because I can feel my sweat coming down. So how are you guys doing? How was your week? This is already our third live. I am pretty excited about it. Try not to focus so much on the filter and definitely try to focus on what we're going to be talked about tonight, because it is really probably one of the most important topics that you would ever have to learn about Haiti. It is something that I learned through painful observation. It was not taught. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a book. And most definitely, between you and I, it is a topic that for some very strange reason people are not really wanted to talk about, which is the acquisition of lands here in Haiti. So this is going to be our topic for tonight. I don't want to, wait too long. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I am absolutely not going to bore you with any type of news. We've talked about that tonight. I just really want to focus on that topic for tonight. As I mentioned to you, it is a very serious topic, whether it is that you are a Haitian person, most definitely whether it is that you are a foreign Haitian, meaning that your family is from Haiti but you're not, whether it is that you are a foreign person. Now I am going to cover two distinct ways when it comes to the acquisitions of land. I am going to cover for a foreign person. By foreign person, I mean someone who is just not Haitian, right? So I'm going to cover that, a foreign person, and I'm also going to cover it as an inheritance. So meaning, by inheritance, it could just be that you are, second, third, whatever generation, but you have inherited lands. You know that you have inherited lands in Haiti. So these are the two main things that I'm going to cover, and then in between, I'll probably share certain things here and there. So, first and foremost, why is it that I say that it is one of the most important things that people would ever need to know? The very first thing behind it, it's because working here in Haiti, I've worked a lot with foreign people, and I've worked a lot with foreign people who have invested here in Haiti, meaning they've purchased land, they started projects, they started businesses, and it all went down to the toilet, if I may say so, right? And over the years, around the time that I used to work with these foreign people, of course, I didn't really know a lot regarding lands in Haiti. But over the years, by paying, not only by paying attention, but also myself being a Haitian woman, believe it or not, these are not information that were privy to me. So we're going to cover a little bit more in depth that on the second part. So as a foreign person, I felt that there are a lot of people who got themselves into some, very funny situations, kind of like situations that they didn't know about, situations where they got their money stolen, situation where it's kind of like, I hear that constantly, and it's definitely avoidable. So whether it is that you are a foreign person or not, I highly suggest that you listen to both parts, because you are definitely going to be able to get a lot of insight from, even from a person, from the perspective of someone who has inherited land. So as a foreign person, I really want to tell you that purchasing and acquiring land in Haiti, the process is very easy. It's the most simplest processes that people will ever have to do, believe it or not. It's really funny because, it's these are information that they're just not clear information, and they're not clear because, in my personal opinion, I really feel like people just don't want you to know how easy it is for you to acquire lands in Haiti. It's very easy if you know the processes and if you have the right team. I feel like these are the two main important thing, is to have an understanding of the processes, meaning like, the how to of doing so. And mainly, I feel like the most important thing is to have the correct team. That's where people fault is, there's very few credential people who are really like trustworthy people. And by trustworthy people, I'm even going as far as saying lawyers. Of course, if you're going to enter that type of processes, you need to involve lawyers, but you really, really want to go with people that are trustworthy. And for that, you're definitely going to have to do your due diligence to not only, get the information pertaining to the law offices or the lawyers or the consultant that you want to work with, but you want to make sure that that person is just someone who is trustworthy, right? Because even in doing this whole processes, there may just be like different things that happens in between lands, and you just want to have someone that you can trust. That's the in buying lands right here in Haiti. So let's talk about foreign people, right? This is what I say. So I'm going to read the notes that I've written for you. And in between the notes that I have written for you, I will, of course, kind of like dissect the information a little bit more for you. And I will most than likely give you also my own perspective and point of view. So here, let's not forget, we are beginning by talking to foreign people, meaning someone who is not of Haitian descent, but someone who's actually really interested into Haiti and wanting to purchase lands. Like, what should you know? I said that it's very important to know of the plot of land that you are interested in buying. It's very important to know if that plot of land is actually for sale. Many times people pretend, many times people purchase lands that are inheritance, meaning that that plot of land has an actual owner. The only way that you are going to know is to have trustworthy lawyers around you. You must have individuals that will do their due diligence to inform themselves and yourself about that land. Meaning, one thing that you really need to remember is that Haiti is a country where the people of Haiti value two things. They value lands and they value children. It is very unlikely, especially as you start going into the remote parts of Haiti, it is very unlikely that you are going to find, people that have not either purchased land for their kids, and keep in mind that Haitian people have a lot of kids, or that you are not going to find, that people have bought. This is why it's very important when people are telling you that they have lands that are available to buy. You actually want to make sure that these are lands that are available. It's the number one mistakes that I feel like a lot of people make here in the country of Haiti. Why is that? You have to go remember, because everything unfortunately ties into politics. When you think about the majority of the Haitians, right? You have a country where people have children, but more than likely everybody want to flee the country. So a lot of times you may have that the plot of land that they are telling you that is for sale is really not for sale. It just happened that the owner of the land may never know that their family members left them that land. So they don't really know that they have inherited the land. It also may be that the owner of the land is a foreign Haitian and they've never really visited the land. So they are not or they are aware, but they've never really shown interest into that particular land. So the people that are around, maybe they want to make the money, maybe they got wind that a foreign person is looking to buy, and the family knows that this is actually, by the family I mean distant relative that still lives in the town. They may know that this is an inheritance land, but because that person has visited Haiti or seldomly comes to Haiti, so let's say every 10 years or so, that person has never really shown any interest. So it is very plausible that the family members may just put it as, you know what, maybe that person is not going to come back to Haiti. Maybe that person doesn't want to come back to Haiti and they just want to make the money, and it's between them, the middleman is in contact, the lawyer, the consultant, and they sell you. Now, lawyers, I have to be very honest, are probably not going to be in on that scheme like that, because it's something that you can bring to court. They can lose their license or anything, but it could just be that the family members, they know that that person, like I said to you before, it's one, either unaware that they have the land, two, either they know of the land but they are not really they have not really shown interest of the land. So a lot of foreign people purchase lands in Haiti that unfortunately are not for sale. The owners are very much there, and sometimes it could even be that the owner would just never privy that you wanted to purchase a land and that they sold the land. So that is very much an information that you need to figure out. Like, okay, you telling me that that plot of land is actually for sale. Is it for sale? Now, how are you going to figure that out? As a foreign person, let's just say that you've never been Haiti, you're not really going to figure that out. The only way for you is that the person that is actually helping you look for the land has got to be, in my opinion, someone that is very trustworthy. So it has to be someone who has integrity. It has to be someone, let's just say that you can have a certain amount of trust with that person, so that if the person is actually let's just say the person found a plot of land that they're letting them know that, okay, this is available, and then you put an offer on it and that person is negotiating on your behalf, and as that person is negotiating on your behalf, they are finding out that that land is actually not for sale. That person has got to have the integrity to come to you and tell you that, hey, the land that you actually want to acquire is not for sale. It's just not for sale. There's already an owner on it. and they can, work with you around if you want to look into something else, or if you want to contact the owners and things of the sort. So this is what I say, right? I said that the procedure is fairly easy. It's not too costly, depending, of course, on the lands that you are acquiring. Right now, as far as buyers, it's the time to purchase land, property in Haiti, because of the state of the country, because of this madness that is going on. Even people who have land have the tendency, they actually want to sell. A lot of people want to sell their lands because they want to put their kids to school. They want to flee the country. They don't see a way out for Haiti, and they really want to sell their lands. They don't see the value of their lands anymore. So as a buyer, it's really one of the most opportunistic time to acquire property here in the country of Haiti, because the majority of the people want to sell. I believe that in the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to change. And even when I tell you that, some places it's people are still buying, because it's funny, the saying where it's like, if you're thinking a particular way, you're probably not the only person who's thinking like that. So people who have knowledge, and people who are very knowledgeable in lands and real estate, they are already in on it. A lot of the Haitian diaspora actually are buying land. This is also for those of you who are thinking that the Haitian diaspora is not. They are actually buying lands, right? So I said that to be sure to do plenty of research to begin working with either a company, an individual, or an individual. Keep in mind that that once you begin working with a company, a lawyer, a consultant, etc., should you want to cancel that contract and work with another company, it may be very challenging to do so. Thus, exercise as much clear judgment as possible when choosing those you want to work with. That is something that you need to know as a foreign person. Haiti isn't a country where, when it comes to building a house, when it comes to buying property, that you can hire a certain type of company, and let's just say that halfway through the contract, you're just not pleased with their services. It's going to be nearly impossible for you to get them off you can get them off your contract, but it's going to be nearly impossible for you to get somebody else to work on that project. This is why, as a foreign person, when you want to do a project in Haiti, or when you want to buy land, you want to build a property, you have got to do your due diligence. It's very, very important to know the people that you are going to start. A lot of times, I've seen this happen many, many, many times, where you have a lot of empty buildings. You have a lot of houses that are, houses that started to build, but they don't finish. And a lot of the times I hear that the people had hired ex contractor, they were not pleased with how the project was going, or how that person was operating, and they fired them. But in return, they were never able to find another company, another contract. They were just never able to find that to continue with their project. Therefore, it's very important for you. I cannot stress that enough. For me, I would go as far as evaluating, right, before you settle in. So you want to work with someone who where you want to purchase land. someone, let's just say someone like myself. You guys know that I run my consulting firm and we cover land. So let's just say that you are very, very interested in working with our firm, with myself. So my suggestion would be to, kind of like get a feel of the person that I am. But also, it doesn't hurt for you to do a little bit more research and figure out, okay, is there somebody else who's doing that as well? And then kind of like compare and evaluate, and also use your intuition to go with the person that you feel is a little bit more trustworthy. Because a lot of times there could be other people that are more knowledgeable than myself who do the work that I do here in Haiti, but they're not as trustworthy as I am. Very, very much so. I will be very honest and tell you that when it comes to, the only reason I chose to do that is because I realized that as I was working on business, people were also interested in land, and I had to learn when it comes to land. So I added that service in our firm. So you really want to go with the person who is trustworthy as well. Okay. Now, I said, if you mistakenly buy a property that already has owners, my recommendation is: one, if the property is still empty and you want it, get a hold of the actual owners. See if they are willing to pass down the papers. Of course, you want to make sure that every step of the way you have lawyers going over the procedure. Should the owners not want to pass down the papers, hopefully those who help you with buying process hopefully those who help you in the buying process aren't frauds. All you would have to do is find another plot of land where you could acquire. Okay, people aren't aware that such procedures could be done, but it's possible. Meaning, so it's a case of what I just said. So let's just say that you already purchased a land, and like I said, you want to make sure that in the process, because it happens, you could hire someone to help you buy land, and the person is totally unaware that the land that they help you purchase actually had the owners. And one of the reasons behind it is because as Haitian people, we are dispersed. So we are not only here in Haiti, we are just like everywhere. So it happens. So in a process like that, when you have a situation like that, what is the best thing to do? Well, the best thing to do, as I said, make sure that when you were buying the land, everything was done legally. So the person who supported you, the person who helped you, the lawyers, the paper, everything was done legally. You have the right papers. Now you want to get a hold of the owner. Let's say that is the owner who actually contacted you and they say, hey, this is our land. This is actually my land. You really want us to have a sit down with the person. 9 times out of 10, this is someone who, it was just an inherited land, and they probably don't even want it. But now it's like, they're like, okay, no, you can't get my land. So the very first thing is to contact the owner. If the owner has contacted you, is to, have a sit down, be adult, and, contact the person, have a sit down talk with the person and see if the person is willing to, because the owner, there's, even when you buy the land and even when everything is done legally, the owner of the land, if they have the right papers, you are going to lose in court. You're gonna lose. So you really want to make sure that you have sort of like an understanding with that person. See if the person would be willing to, kind of like give you the right papers. So kind of like you purchase the land, the papers that you have are no longer viable because they have their papers saying that it's their land. See after talks if they would give you the land, right? That's something that is very plausible, especially if the people who are involved with helping you buy the land are all trustworthy people. They are willing to stand by you. The lawyers are willing to stand by you and help you with that procedures. The owners, in my opinion, more than likely they might just give it to you. Now, I'm not so sure there may be a fee, and we're going to cover that out in the second part, because even with the fee, it depends, because let's just say that you purchase land in an area where it was rugged. You purchase land in an area where there was nothing, right? And then you turn it into a project, or you build a home, and you added value to that particular area. That person cannot, they cannot go and say that the land was worth this and that. You can prove that with your investment in that particular land. So meaning you build a home, you did a project, you definitely can prove that your investment added value to that entire community. So this is just in the event that that person would want you to give them some type of cash and some type of money just to have the exchange papers, right? I don't think that they have that, you can prove otherwise, unless you already purchased the land, but the land is just sitting down. If you purchase, let's just say that you purchased the land, but you've not invested just yet in the land, you've not built anything, you were just thinking about it, and let's just say that the owner contact you and they say, hey, you know what, this is our land, but let's say that you just really want that land. Now it's negotiable. It's going to be between you and that owner to figure out, okay, do you actually want to give them some money to give you that plot of land, or if it's not worth it, because now if you go to court, you can't prove that you added value on the land because you haven't done anything with it. This is also one of the reasons, in my opinion, in Haiti, when you are buying stuff, unless this is something, even when it's for inheritance, I see so many people that have purchased land for their kids, but that they have lost these lands, and it's because you bought these lands and it's just sitting there. And you buy land, it's just sitting there. You have to do something with the land, right? You have to do something with the land. So my recommendation would always be that to buy when you are ready to build, to buy when you're all ready to do something with it. Don't just buy and have that land sitting there for like X amount of years. Do you know what I mean? All right. So I said too, if you have already invested into such property and the owner wants it back, you absolutely can have the court system to rule on your favor and have the owner pay you all of your investment. Do not get out of your investment. There are cases where you buy the property, and through your investment, you not only have the property value, but the entire location all must be taken into consideration. Remember, the very first mistake to avoid is getting involved with crooks during the buying process. Most happen, and if everything correctly, there should be no problem. I'm so sorry. Again, I wear glasses, and so I'm saying to you, in that second case, which is if you purchase the land as a foreign person, you've already invested. I've seen this happen. I've worked with organizations before here in Haiti that have purchased acres of land for them to have the owners turn around and wanted to either one, get the land back, to prosecute these individuals on a land that they've already invested in, right? when you have such cases, you most definitely can have the court system rule in your favor. Meaning that, let's just say that you bought 2 acres of land, right? And you invested into a project, whether it is that you built a school, whether it is that you have some type of community project going on. The amount of investment that you've made on the piece of land, these people who own the land, I can guarantee you they probably could have never made such investment. So let's just say that they would turn around and say, we want our lands back. All you have to do would be, let's say that they would be very adamant that, okay, we want our lands back. All you have to do is go and sue, the court system, and make sure that they pay you back the investment, which I'm probably certain that they would not have the cash to do so. So in that manner, the court would rule on your case to have you guys still have your lands available. A lot of these procedures are not really said. I don't know why, but it's just common sense. And like I said to you before, you just really need trustworthy lawyers. Because with lawyers, and I don't want to say lawyers in Haiti, it's lawyers everywhere. They really look at how they can make money. So you want to avoid lawyers that are going to drag the case. You want to avoid lawyers that are really going to want to make more money off of you than you already have. And for that reason, let's not forget that I've already told you that you also need to have a certain sense of knowledge into the buying process, because once you contact that lawyer and that lawyer, you see that they are on some scamming thing, you could just let them go and not want to contact them. But you can also make sure that as you are having a conversation with them, you let them know that, through your conversation, they see that you two are knowledgeable on the whole process, right? So that's something else. So I see. Oh my goodness. As a foreign person, my recommendation would be to hire a consultant that is on the ground and can definitely be that confident in which you are trustworthy. You could also have trustworthy lawyers. Also inform yourself in the buying procedure. You want to be as knowledgeable as those who are going to work with you. The only way that you are going to take a loss is if from the buying you started off poorly. That means that nothing will be salvaged. Meaning, that's the very first thing. How are you buying? Listen, I have stories. People can run a game around you. If the only way, because like I said to you, these mistakes can happen. It happens more often. It even happens amongst family members, to tell you the truth. And this is one of the reasons why I was like, it's very important for me to speak on, because even with family members, like close relatives, I saw that happen. It happens that you purchase lands and that the land was already purchased. It happens more often than not, especially in a country like Haiti, when you have people that are dispersed. The only way that you take a big loss, meaning that you can't get any of your money back, you can't get the court to overrule anything for you, is if during the buying process everything that was done was not done accurately. Meaning that the people that you got involved with are crooks. The people that you got involved with, they never gave you the right papers. The papers that they gave you were bogus papers. The procedures that you followed, the lawyers are nowhere to be found. Because let's just say that you bought the land. If you bought the land and the people that got you involved are crooks, then what happens is that you're not going to find them once the owners are coming to you, and once the owners are telling you that, okay, we want the land back. You're actually not going to see them around, because they are crooks. They know that the papers that they've given you, everything that they've given you is just not worthy, right? So that's the only way, in my opinion, is that you're going to take a a loss is if in the buying process, everything that you've done was wrong. I know of an individual who made a huge investment in the southeast side of Haiti in Jacmel, and they bought the land, and I think that they either invested in a hotel or they kind of like bought the hotel. And recently, which was 2 years ago, when I went back and I was on the coast, I overheard that that particular individual had to flee because the hotel owners actually came back to Haiti and were like, we this is our hotel. We never knew. And I know that that particular individual had been in Haiti for over 5 years. So imagine that. Now, I was a little bit more on vacation. I was partly not really focused on business. So I didn't further ask questions. But between you and I, let's just say that this is something that were to happen to a client of mine. Oh, honey, no, 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 no. Because you have to remember, how long have you been operating, right? People cannot just come. Let's say that you bought something, you've been operating for 5, 10 years or so. People cannot come back and say to you that they just like that, like you have to leave. It's really not possible. So as a foreign person, I just feel like I've heard so many stories from foreign person, and here we talk about lands, but I even remember a case from a person that I was talking to, because this is what happens. This is why it's very important to protect yourself legally. And this is also why when you want to work in a country, you yourself, let's say that you are a business person in organization, it's very, very, very important to have a certain type of status in that country. Because should something like that happen, you really want to have the proper legal papers in order to fight that person. I know someone who was looking for an office space for their organizations, and they found the office space. They found the office space on a location that was really not the best, really. But they really wanted something quickly. They wanted something fast. So they just decided to just move ahead and just go. Tell me why that person, they rented out the place. I think they rented out the place, which was a very, very small house. It wasn't necessarily a small house, but it was just built very poorly, because the thing with building is the way that you build brings value to any type of property. I feel like it was built poorly because I visited the house, because I used to work with these individuals. I visited when they first got it, and it was very not pleasing to the eyes. It was not finished. It was done poorly. So fast forward, in less than 6 months, that woman turned that place into like an amazing place, right? From the mosaic that they use, from the finishing project, from the way that she was able to break down the house and make sure that the house had more rooms, because she had an organization, to having like the house turned into like from the entrance an office space, and then you had kind of like a break room, and then you have 2 rooms in the back, and then putting in different type of toilets. It costs money to do that, right? Then the entrance road was like this crappy, muddy, like you could definitely not go into that place once the way that it was bought without some heavy sneakers. So now you could actually go there with some heels. That's the improvement. The owner turns around after that woman invested so much money in that property. But I do remember that she had signed only a 2-year contract with him. He turns around after 2 years and hikes up the price on her. So after 2 years, she wanted to renew the contract. Of course, she really thought like she was gonna renew it for the same money, because I told you the way that she rented out, it was just crappy. This guy hiked up the price. That woman was so upset that she just left. And what happens like that? Yes, she left. The owner is his greed. Very much his greed. Now he's looking at it, he's probably looking at it like, okay, look at all the improvement. Look at all the investment that she's made. Well, you know what? I actually could rent it out and get a lot of money out of it. So that was probably his thinking. So he was thinking to himself that he could either make the money off of her, or he could hire somebody else. But he had to remember, his house was the only house that was built like that, because the entire neighborhood was a poor neighborhood. So nobody could afford the style of the house the way that the owners turn it, right? Nobody who really had the money who could afford to do so would actually go there, because it doesn't matter if the place was good, the neighborhood is not the best. So nobody is going to go live there, because at the end of the day, the neighborhood is not improved. So he took a loss, because at the end of the day, that woman got really, really upset at that. Do you know what I mean? So this is why I say to, now for her, for the owner, I think she got very angry at him, and she was just very frustrated, because she probably didn't want to put any more energy into that, and nor did she want to argue with him or anything, because I remember once he did that, she just left. But in another way, if she really wanted to pursue him, she definitely had a case. She could have pursued him. She could have get the court to rule for him to pay her all of the expenses that she made on the house, right? So this is why I say, as a foreign person, this is really what you need to know. Now, moving forward, we are now going to be talking about inheritance. I feel like I should sip on some water for that part of the life. First and foremost, I have to say that there are too many of us who are unaware that our family members have left us land. This is a very, very, very important. There are so many people that are unaware that family members have actually left them lands. And we are going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. Now, I say, as an inheritance, this is more complicated. I said that as someone who has inherited land in Haiti, the very first thing is to actually know that a family member left you some lands. It is to have the actual location and to visit your land. This is why you have people who say, foreign people who say things like, I bought land for my kid and I lost the land. A lot of times, people buy lands for their, you know what, I'll take a simple example. I know someone, we are extremely close, and their mother has property in the south of Haiti. And she comes off quite often. Her children are Haitians, but more Americanized than Haitians. But the first daughter just like myself, took a loving liking in Haiti, just like myself, with the difference that she grew up in the States. So recently she contacted me in a whims, and she expressed her interest to come back to Haiti. She always comes to visit. So I had a talk with her mother not so long ago, who was actually building a home in their hometown. The mother not only has a home, but I do believe that the mother has a school that she's building. And I said to the mother, when I was having a talk with her mom, and I said, did you speak to so and so did you let her know that, that she has all the papers? That's what I said to her. I said, does your daughter has all the papers of all the property, and is she aware of everything that you're doing in Haiti? Why? Listen, death happens. Anything can take place. Look at the 20 years that we had. In my opinion, when you have children, which is something that is so not privy in our Haitian culture, because in the Haitian culture, in my opinion, parents tend to drag the whole procedure of sitting down with their children, and not sitting down with your children when your child is 60 or 50, but sitting down with your children around their 20 years, like 23, 22. That's a young adult. You have to sit that child down and let them know of certain property that you have. In the event that you would be gone, they need to know, they need to be aware of that. They need to know where your papers are. They need to know the lawyers that you have. Your children needs to be involved in what you have going on. So I had to have a tough conversation with my friend, and I was like, because first, you have a daughter who does not want to be in a country like the United States. She doesn't want to be there. She's not really privy of Haiti because she didn't grow up in Haiti, but you can see the love. Now, you started to invest in Haiti. You already built a home, and I think she started a project with a school. God forbid that you were like you were to be gone, and you did not say to your children, this is the papers, this is who in Haiti is in charge of the house, this is who is building this house, this is who is doing that. These people are not really going to have a sit down with your kids and tell your kids about what you did, because they're not going to do so. Very unlikely. This is why when I speak to people who are there are too many Haitian people who are just not aware that their family left them lands. Their relatives may know it, but they're not going to tell you that. Matter of fact, 9.9 times out of 10, it be the same people who are probably trying to like sell off things that belongs to you. It be the same people when you try to come to Haiti who stay and keep telling you that Haiti is no good. It be the same people that call you every day to tell you about their problems. They can't do this, they can't do that. Meanwhile, they sitting on property that belongs to you or your family. So it's very important to know whether or not you have inherited lands, right? Okay. So I said 2, you want to have an in-presence person, right? I would not recommend relying solely on any family members, lawyers, consultant without actually seeing your land, evaluating the value, having the accurate proportion, etc. I say so because you want to know what you have acquired. Too many times people who have inherited properties or lands are quick to sell down when in all actuality what you have is worth millions. From my own personal perspective, I can assure you that family members are the first that will caution you to sell off, oftentimes for their own benefit. So this is exactly what I told you. Now, let's say that you have inherited lands. If you've inherited property, now I talk more about land, but let's say it's a house that your family left you. It's a family house. It's a grandma's house. It's a house that your family left you. The very first thing is to actually come and visit what they've left you. You gotta come. You have to appraise it. You first, before you come, you are aware of it. My suggestion is you come, but you're not really, you visit. You want to make sure, because lands in Haiti, it's very tricky. And it's very tricky because there's value in property. And it's very tricky because a lot of time people don't know your intention, especially if you are a foreign Haitian person. They are very skeptical about you. They don't really like you like that. They don't know you. So you want to make sure that you start visiting, the people. And as you start visiting, you can ask them to see the property that your family left you. Now, you really don't, in my opinion, don't go first with what they tell you, because if you don't have a certain type of rapport with them, if you don't have a certain type of relationship with them, they can show you anything, or they can show you half. They don't give you the whole property. They don't tell you exactly everything that is for you, especially if your parents have not said to you what you are privy on. Now, if you have the papers should show you the property. The papers, on the papers, it should have the correct number of acres or centimeters of what you have acquired. That paper should have that. So if you have the paper, now let's say that you just know, okay, maybe it's on the will, like one of your parents passed away, and on their will they just let you know that, hey, I left you some land in Haiti, but you don't have the papers. You want to make sure that you woo these people until they give you the paper, your land paper, right? Because at the end of the day, if they can't do anything because the paper states that you are the owner. But the thing with it is, like I said, a lot of time people don't know that they have land, and the second thing is, a lot of time you don't have the papers. So you want to make sure that you have the papers. Now, to acquire these papers, what you can do is, once you figure out that if it's in a will that your family left you, let's say you were a foreign person, your parents died, or maybe during their last days they sat you down and they let you know that they've left you lands, but they didn't get a chance to tell you all the information as far as like where the papers are, who has the papers. And look at the state of Haiti now. So imagine that maybe this is something that happened a long time ago and you don't even know where the papers are. So you need to find the papers. You need to locate your papers. If the papers are lost, I do believe that the court system can pull it out for you. Now, Haiti doesn't have really tech stuff. Listen, we're not going to turn this video into something else. These guys do not have any tech stuff. So I'm going to figure out that if it's not something that happened recently, it's gonna take some time. You're gonna have to want to have dedicated lawyers. It actually may also cost you some extra money, because lawyers are not gonna wanna just do it just to do it. So it's gonna cost you a little bit more money to have the court system make a new paper for you. But of course, it's doable. So 3, I said, once you do step 2, you want to know what you are interested in doing with your property. It will be based on what you have in mind, but mostly what is in the best interest of yourself and your community. So now let's just say that you have inherited the lands, you did step 2, so you came down to Haiti, you visited your property, and you're like, oh, you know what, I actually really like my property. I feel like, I'm interested in doing something. Now it's based on to you. What are you interested in doing? Are you interested in, but of course I said you have to look at your community. Where is that land located? And you always want to familiarize yourself with either relatives or anyone that is around in the premises of your land, because you don't want to say that you're going to do something and it just doesn't take off because it's not the right community. This is not the project for that. You want to have a certain type of a relationship with the people that are around. You want to have also someone that is trustworthy. So someone that is here in Haiti that can counsel you and the best thing that you want that property. You don't want to come and build a home and that property could have done something different to benefit yourself, but to also benefit the community. Always remember that, as I said to you in the previous live that we talked about, Haiti is really a country, in my opinion, that operates a lot in communities. So you want to involve people that are around you. You don't want to just come as a fucking sorry. You don't want to come as a person and just be like you know it all. You know, the people are not going to take into that very likely. You really want to have a sit down with them. You want to let them know that they are involved into what you really want to do. It's going to make your project or whatever it is that you have in mind, it's going to make it run a lot smoothly when you are involving people there. You know, you have a certain trustworthy, you let them know. Of course, if you feel like things that you want to do, you don't want to let everyone know, you keep certain information to yourself, but you share with them what is shareable, I may say. So I said that my recommendation is which is exactly what I just told you, to build a rapport with your family members, to have also your own trustworthy person to look down on your procedure, i.e. consultant, lawyers, etc. So as a foreign Haitian person, you know, yes, you know, you want to have that familiarity with your family members. You want to get to know them, you involve them, but you also want to have the right people, the right team. You want to have lawyers because it's still a procedure, whatever it is that you're gonna do. So you want to make sure that you have your own lawyers, not lawyers that family members are going to recommend, not consultants that family members are going to recommend, someone that is an external force. Why? You want to have someone that is non-biased to on your corner, someone that doesn't have any relationship with your family members, and someone that your family members are not aware of. Why? If you get a lawyer that is a family lawyer, you know, it's, you know, your family who told you to get that person, oftentimes that lawyer may side with your family, or that person may be biased, or that person may not be in your own best interest. So you really want to have someone that is going to be in your best interest, but someone that is knowledgeable on what they're doing, that is going to be able to counsel you very well into your next best move. You know what I mean? Okay, so I said, if you want to sell your property, so let's say that you came to Haiti, you looked at the property, you saw it, you're not really interested into it, so you kind of want to sell it, right? So what do I say here? I said, if you want to sell your property, I would highly advise that you get the correct value of your property before buying. You must also know the right time to do so. Personally, if you are selling, more than likely you will be at the losing end because of the state of the country. Thus, exercise cautions when doing so. So we just talked about that. You guys know that Haiti presently is in a state of chaos. So a lot of people are actually selling lands. They're just feeling like, you know, you either have people who want to migrate into other countries, or you just have people who are just not really interested, or life is becoming pretty tough for people here in Haiti. So you have people who just want to sell off a little piece of land here and there because they want money, you know? So as someone who has inherited land, I would actually not advise you to sell, because you would probably make a loss right now. Even if the land is worth a lot, you know, it's very difficult to negotiate with people. People know that, you know, the country is not really offering much right now. So you're not really going to get a lot from your money. You're just not, you know, so, you know, don't sell it. So we were talking about the land, and we were discussing the many options. So I believe that we just discussed the option of you wanting to selling the land, and I do believe that I've said to you what you would need to do, right? So I said, One option that is, let's say that you, because I believe that we discussed that, I've told you that in my opinion it's not really the right time to sell because you're gonna sell down. You're not really gonna get your value worth. Now if it's land, because it could be, as I mentioned to you before, it could be that you've inherited a house, which is very different. Now if it's a land, one option, I say one option, if the land is sitting there, is to actually send it out. It's to actually rent it out, right? You can get farmers to plant their crops and they can give you the percentage of their revenue. You do this until the property value increase. Of course, you want to be aware of what you're doing. A lot of us, like I said to you before, a lot of us have lands. I live here in the city, which is Port-au-Prince, but my mom actually has a lot of land in the south. And, it's something that is done. So you get someone to use the land so that person uses the land to plant. Sometimes the person can plant whatever the seasons is bringing back. And what you can do in return is that you can have them give you some money on their investment, on their revenue. Now I said that you need to know what you're doing, because if you're not familiar with that type of exchange, you really want to get someone who knows what they're doing to help you with that. Because let's say you have land and you want to buy, but it's not the right time to buy. So all you need to do is to make sure that you have people who can use the land, plant. A lot of farmers, a lot of people still need land to plant. How do I say banana? Oh my god, I just had a brain for it. Plantain. People can plant plantain, mango, peas, whatever. You just want to make sure that if you're not familiar with that type of thing, you want to make sure that you get someone who can know that, right? So second, I said that you can resell to a family member if you are not really interested on that particular property. Many times the family members are already using that property and or not, right? Just make sure that you have a clear understanding of your property. So let's say that you actually do have property, but you don't really want to, you're not interested, you're really not interested. The simplest and easiest way for you would be to pass it down to a family members that someone who lives already in Haiti, or someone who's just in your family who's interested and wants to purchase land. So it can happen. You could have a cousin, someone that you're close with, or it could be that you sell it off to a family member. It's like this. It's still your it's easier. You just want to make sure that you have an understanding of your property, and of course you come down, you see your property, you have the correct value, you appraise it. And if there are people who are just not interested in Haiti, okay, they're not, but they have property here in Haiti, you can sell it off to a family member. That's also one of the easiest way, in my opinion, to do that. So I said, how is the procedure if as someone who has inherited land, you want to resell? So let's say that you inherited your land, but you're not really interested and you actually want to resell the land. I said you must first have the papers. You cannot do anything if you do not have the right papers. You want to make sure that you have the right papers. The papers are in your hand. You do not want to get your papers in anybody's hand. These people may not give you your papers back. So that's the very first thing. You must know that the papers are actually the correct ones. You must get your property appraised and do your due diligence to hire the right people to sell for you. So that's the first thing. Like I said, these are really easy procedure. I don't know why people really tend to make it so difficult, because it's really not. Trust me, I've been focusing on land for a year now, a year and a half, and it's not a difficult thing. In my opinion, it's so easy that people trick you into believing that it's difficult. That's the only thing that I can came up. I think that it's so easy. However, people just make it, they make it harder than it is actually, but it's really not hard, right? So I said, just as a buyer, so this is if you don't want the land but you want to resell the land. I said, just as a buyer, your procedure can be dragged out and never done, or done in the correct way. If you are in the dark, or have crooks taking care of your affairs, right? I said, in selling, be certain that your name will not be dragged into a messy situation involving illegal buy. Always be aware of each step that you are going to be involved in. Selling can be quite draining. You want the right buyer. So selling, just as buying land, it's just, I feel like buying is actually a lot more easier than selling. If you are going to sell land, you really want to make sure that you have the right papers. You want to make sure that you have the right, team around you. Because let's say that you own a land. You do not want to have your name dragged into a similar affair that I speak on when I talked about foreign people in the first part of the video. So let's say that you live in a different countries, but you have inherited lands, or let's say that you put out lands to sell, but you don't have the right papers, and somebody buys the land, and now you're realizing that the land that they've bought is actually your land, but they don't have the right papers. Nobody ever told you that. You want to make sure that you know what these guys are doing here in Haiti. You also want to make sure that you have the right person helping you around that. You don't want to have property sell and you make a loss. Nobody wants that. It doesn't matter if it's a home they left you, or it could just be lands that you purchased but you want to resell. You might find it very interesting to see how it's easier for you to buy lands than it is to resell lands, right? Of property, homes, etc. All in all, remember that there are two things that are valued in our culture. The number one thing is children. The second thing is land, i.e. property. Be very mindful about what you have inherited. Don't be too quick to sell. Inform yourself. Hire qualified and trustworthy individuals. Your property, land have value that you are perhaps unaware of. This is for people that are inherited. Sadly, there are way too many Haitian people that are living abroad that have inherited lands. Like I said, they don't know, they are uninterested, they don't know the value of what they have. Your land, if you ever grew up in this culture, they will teach you that a man without a land is a nobody. Okay? As a Haitian person, the number one thing that a Haitian person does, a man, is he look for a wife. Because he wants children. He wants children. The second thing, he starts to acquire land because he wants to own property. So when your family leaves you lands, property, you in my opinion, I would not recommend that you just get up and you either pass down your papers or you give out land. A lot of times you guys are not privy of certain information. A lot of times you guys don't know the value of what you have. A lot of time you guys are absolutely unaware of the procedure or anything in the matter of Haiti. And unfortunately, it's because your parents are not doing the work that they're supposed to do. Haitian parents have the tendency to buy things for families, or I'll buy this for that daughter, I'll buy this for that son, and leave these things off to you. In fact, you need to be aware of the procedure once they are no longer there and you have actually inherited the land, but you want to do something, but you don't even know how to do it, right? You don't even know where to begin. And you make it's in your mind, you feel like it's just too much, but it's really a very, very, very simple procedure. And I really feel like this was one of the most, probably the most important topic. And the reason that I had to break it down and to talk about it from a foreign perspective, and I also had to bring in the fact and talk about it from the perspective of someone who has inherited land, it's because you guys know that I run consultation, and I see so many foreign people that are interested into Haiti, into the markets of Haiti. And I see a lot of my Haitian people that are not, second, third generation foreign Haitian people. I'll call you guys foreign Haitian people. Unfortunately, you guys are not seeing the mistakes that you are making in selling off property that you have inherited. Now, it's my job when I'm working with foreign people to do what is in their best interest, which is working in favor of whoever I have. But as a Haitian person, as someone who came back here in my country, and as someone who sees many things that they are not telling us, I feel obliged to also warn off my Haitian people who have inherited lands about selling off your own property. Listen, these are properties. For everything that you sell, keep in mind that you may not ever have the money to buy it again. For everything that a family members leave you, keep in mind that once you sell that off, you may not even have the money to buy it again. So please exercise a lot of cautious when you are having these dealings. Very, very important, especially with the shift that Haiti is taking down, cautioning people to sell off properties when in fact you should hold on to what you have. Or if you are a Haitian person or a foreign Haitian and your family left you nothing, it's probably a time for you to look into buying property here in Haiti. With that being said, I want to let you again remember that I am here for you guys if you are interested in receiving a consultation. The consultation has many parts. We deal in the matters of doing business, whether it is that you are interested in doing business in Haiti. We cover these topics: doing business in Haiti, the acquisitions of lands in Haiti, as well as how to successfully run a project in Haiti. Or these three topics are in depth. So that means that you are really getting the breakdown of your questions. It's very, very in depth. Then we also have an additional service that I added in because a lot of times people have a few questions that they want. So we have an additional service where for 6 questions or 1 hour, you can, select that service. Let's just say if you kind of just want to get a feel of the questions before you begin the whole procedure of the in-depth consulting. So we also have that service available for you. Please take advantage of that. The world is changing. the number one thing that you want to do in life is to be prepared. Preparation is key. Right now, I cannot tell you how much, despite everything that's going on in this world, I am pretty steady, pretty focused, because I was really able to prepare myself. Be prepared. Take, you know, use the services. They are here for you guys. Thank you so much. And the next meeting is actually for next Thursday, where we're going to do a little bit analysis. I want to bring forth a focus of Haiti 2030 and forward, because I believe that by 2030 we will definitely have entered a new Haiti. So I'm going to discuss a few things with you guys. Thank you so much to Abner Saint Jean, who stayed with me and joined the live. I appreciate you, Abner. I hope that you enjoyed the live. Thank you, guys. Do not forget, every Wednesday I will do my best to be here with you guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.